Maybe if I could share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, we can begin. Good afternoon, everyone from Kenya. My name is Leshan Wedera. I am the communication coordinator at Yunus Environment Hub, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining this particular session where we will be discussing advancing women leadership in business and climate action. It is my hope that we will all get to learn from each other as well as learn from our wonderful panelists who are with us here today. So I'd like to just give a brief overview of the agenda of this session. So our agenda for today starts with some opening remarks from the panelists, as well as from one of our program managers here at Yunus Environment Hub, who will be briefly introducing what we do at Yunus Environment Hub, as well as give an overview of the Circularize program. I hope you will all be able to enjoy the session as well as learn great insights from our social business entrepreneurs. We will also have a brief introduction from our panelists who will introduce themselves as well as their businesses. And then later we will go direct to the discussion for today. So I would like to welcome Leonard Mwasi, who is a program manager at Yunus Environment Hub, to briefly explain what we do at Yunus Environment Hub. Leonard, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leshan. Thank you all for attending this session. I'd like to briefly run you through who we are as an organization, the entire Yunus Environment Hub, briefly touch on our solutions and how we work, and then later on introduce you to the Circularize project, and end it there, maybe allow some of our participants to also participate in introducing themselves and telling us why they are here. So to briefly touch on Yunus Environment Hub, Yunus Environment Hub is a global network working towards alleviating environmental challenges within the globe, working largely on 3 key areas where we try to grow and scale social business entrepreneurs by helping them to maximize their potential and scale their solutions. As an organization, we try to help social businesses or businesses as a whole to move from the linear way of working to a circular model that basically helps them now to really reduce on the carbon emissions. And one of our key strategies, or one of our key duties, is has been to help in eradicating or working for in a world with 3 zeros. That is zero unemployment, 0 net carbon emissions, and then there's also the issue of 0 waste. So with that, we have been able to work on various matters over the last more than 40 years. So like I mentioned, there's the circularity and the circular economy, there's waste management. We've also worked on carbon neutrality and sustainable agriculture. And working in the country, Kenya and globally, we've been able to really help social businesses develop more resilient business models that again go towards helping them become more productive, and also to help them in improving on their capacities as well. So this all started locally from the BBB project, where we worked with 25 social businesses to help them just improve their capacities. Again, I will repeat on the circular, linear to circular approach, where over the past 1 year, we've worked with the 25 social businesses and really helped them to develop some of the models that we are going to be informed of today. So based on that, over the 1 year activity, we have been able to realize a couple of issues that we felt we needed to build upon based on the activities we did. And maybe just to run you through how we were able to manage the BBB project. It was basically through training. And then there was also the individualized support that helped the social businesses to better understand circularity and to help them gain more tailor-made solutions and more tailor-made approaches towards improving their businesses. So this was a 1 year process that took an issue, a bit of a combination of mentoring, training, as well as peer-to-peer learning. And over the past 1 year, we did realize a couple of improvements or a couple of successes during the project, and built up on Circularize, which now is intended to go beyond the borders of Kenya and into the East African region. So we were working with 4 different sectors that was agribusiness, manufacturing and retail. We worked with tourism and hospitality, as well as basic services, which included recycling, which included waste management. And through these 25 social businesses, we were able to learn that some of the sectors that might have required more of our attention would be agribusiness and manufacturing and retail. So based on some of that, we were able to develop the concept for the Circularize project. Now, for the East African project, we're looking to have more women-focused social businesses or enterprises that, again, should be able to allow us to really touch on the impact with those 2 factors in mind. So the Circularize project looks to, again, continue with the circularity theme, shifting the social businesses from a more linear to a more circular approach. We're also looking at helping them to develop new concepts that reduce on carbon emissions and waste, as well as to help them become investor ready and attract impact investment. That should catalyze more towards, that should catalyze the change to a more environmentally friendly approaches from the social businesses perspective. So the project is still ongoing in the works, and very soon we should have a call for application for some of those social businesses, just to help them and see how best we can help them restructure to, again, more resilient business models. For me, I would like to introduce, if I'm allowed by Leshan, to introduce some of the businesses that we've worked with before. They are female-owned, and a good sample from some of the social businesses that we've worked with, to just briefly take us through who they are, what they have gained from working with us as well, and also introduce their businesses to us. And I will first start with Dorothy from Nyalore Impact to briefly introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Leonard, for this opportunity, and thanks for inviting me to this program today. Yes, as Leonard has said, my name is Dorothy Awor Otieno. I am a clean energy entrepreneur. I work in Western Kenya, and what we do, we produce carbonized briquettes and the cook stoves that supports cooking with the charcoal briquettes. So we are in waste management, and we recycle the agricultural waste and the other charcoal dust that is thrown by the vendors along the streets or in the drainage to make clean cooking fuel that households need back at home. And our cook stoves are also made from recycled metal, which is got just locally in the Juakali sector or informal sector here in Kenya. I want to thank the Yunus Environment Hub for allowing me the opportunity to learn with them and meet other social entrepreneurs, because through them, I have been able to learn more about circularity and seen how going
You are on mute, Dorothy.
Oh, sorry. Where did you lose me?
You had briefly touched on circularity.
Yes, so I'm saying I'm very, very grateful to Yunus for allowing me the opportunity to learn with you and also share with my peers. And we have seen how circularity can help us to go more green and contribute more to saving the environment and reducing waste. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. I'd like to introduce Joyce as well to introduce her organization and the work they're doing.
Thank you, Leonard, and thank you for having me. So my name is Joyce Kamande, a co-founder and the head of operations in Safi Organics. So what we do in Safi Organics, we are changing the narrative of smallholder farmers getting into the poverty cycle by acquiring very highly imported synthetic fertilizers that in the long run have degraded their soils and making them food insecure. So Safi Organics uses the technology to decentralize fertilizer production in village-based units, employing and using locally resources, labor and waste. So majorly right now we are focusing on recycling the agricultural biomass waste in Mwea and Kirinyaga counties. So we use the rice husk and the coffee husk, turn it into something that is called biochar. Then we have a nutrient mix, which we add into this biochar, and then make this biochar into other 3 products. So our first product is a soil amender, which is majorly like added nutrient biochar, which acts as the same as lime or mob. So its major competition or its major competitiveness is that it reduces soil acidity in the farms. And the other product is a planting fertilizer, and the third product is a top grazing fertilizer. So it's a standalone fertilizer that will enable smallholder farmers farm organically, sustainably, and in an eco-friendly way. So we have been doing this since 2015, and the company is co-founded by 3 founders who are very young, resilient, and ready to break the status quo. We are currently serving over 10,000 smallholder farmers across Kenya and trying to do something as well as in India. So we really focus to empower these smallholder farmers so that they can actually be able to adopt into sustainable agricultural farm inputs as well as practices. This is majorly because we have a call and a mission to ensure that our farmers can become food secure. So we have many testimonials across the country, many farmers who have had the impact of using Safi Organics products and have majorly uplifted their lifestyle and even be able to do some other jobs and income streams. So right now we are at the scale-up stage. Have already set up another production plant in Kisumu 2 months ago, and trying to see how we can also be able to convert the rice husk in Kisumu as well. So another revenue that we're trying to break and actually come up together as a team and really working hard towards this is developing the carbon credit program, where farmers get an extra income by using Safi Organics fertilizer. Why we get into this space is majorly because we are recycling waste. The other big thing is, if you use Safi Organics product, you can be able to sequester about 1.7 tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. So farmers can be able to actually get into this space and actually get another extra income for them to be in a better place and really find that farming in a sustainable way is something that is really encouraging. So as part of the Yunus business hub and program last year, what we are able to gain actually is great connections, getting our voice heard in different platforms, And in these connections, we are developing some of other things and partnerships that we can be able to scale to the other stage, because we are at the fundraising stage. So I would highly recommend the program. It was a great activity, and yes, enrolling some of the different, it's not like restricted that I should have been the one doing the program, or rather our CEO could have been the one doing the program, but it involved every other person that you think that would benefit from this program. So it's not a restricted program. You can bring anyone on board and benefit other employees as well. So I'm happy to be part of this panel today. And thank you very much, Leonard, and the entire team for giving me this platform.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joyce, for the clearing report. Okay, I'd like to introduce Patrice as well, to also give us a brief on what she does and who Patvention is. Welcome, Patrice.
Thank you so much, Leonard. My name is Patrice Murugi Washira, and I'm the founder of Adventure Limited. We recycle waste, such as plastic, to construct environmental friendly beehives. And we're using these beehives to engage in sustainable beekeeping for the extraction of bee products such as honey and bee venom. Maybe to highlight that we really benefited from the BBB program because number one, we got opportunities to network with potential investors. Currently, we are in communication with some of them, and we know good results are coming afterwards. Also, we were able to get product development and incorporate circularity in our business. And this has taken us to great lengths because our products now are more environmental friendly. We are starting to reuse them so as to reduce on waste. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrice. I'd like to hand it back to Leshan, proceed with the rest of the project, rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leonard, and also to our social business entrepreneurs for that amazing introduction about what you do. So I'd like to give a brief overview of the panel discussion that we're having today. The session is titled Advancing Women Leadership in Business and Climate Action. And as you can see, or rather as you have heard from our female founders, these are women who are leading climate action in Kenya. So a brief overview, or rather to just give a gist of what the panel discussion is about. Climate change is a global crisis that is affecting every human around the world, as well as other ecosystems. Systemic barriers are hindering women's ability to effectively prepare for, as well as respond to climate impacts that are affecting them directly as well as indirectly. There have been attempts before to ensure climate justice, but without lasting solutions from women who are at the center, or rather the forefront of fighting climate change, no results are going to be achieved. So for this panel discussion, we will be hearing from our female founders from Kenya on how their experiences, success stories have been in leading in business, as well as the climate action space from East Africa. So I would like to start with the first discussion we'd like to have today, and I would like to direct this to Patrice. Women are underrepresented in climate-related decision-making, which is resulting in processes that are overlooking their specific needs, as well as their contribution, as well as their crucial contribution in the fight against climate change. As a woman founder and who is running a climate-related business in Kenya, how do you ensure that your decisions are not overlooked, or rather, how do you ensure that in this particular space, your decisions and contributions are well heard? Patrice?
Thank you so much for that question. I think prioritizing gender inequality and inclusivity in all aspects of the business, ensuring that women have equal opportunities in leadership roles, also implementing practices that prevent any gender discrimination and harassment at our workplaces.
Maybe Joyce, you would like to also share your experiences in how you ensure that your decisions and crucial contribution in the climate and business space is not overlooked.
Thanks, Leshan, for that question. I'll take it in a different aspect, where I need my voice heard. I need to be present. I need to represent other voices of other women who are really playing a key role in these decision makings. So I would say personally, what I do is that anywhere that I get an opportunity or I see an opportunity, because sometimes you have to go and look for those opportunities. Sometimes the opportunity presents yourself. I ensure that I'm present in the room. I ensure that I'm able to speak, tell the story of my company, because whatever I'm doing, somebody might not know actually it exists. But if I'm able to raise the voice and actually say, oh, there are these kind of innovations that are coming in. And if I find other opportunities that actually relate and other innovative activities and other innovative companies that are really playing a key role, I actually advocate and actually mention them during my presentations. So when I'm present during meetings, I show up and actually amplify the voices of other people. And the other thing I also do to ensure that my voice is heard is through networking. When I get to a point where I feel that these people are aligning to my mission, I get into the space and really communicate that, guys, look here, these are the kind of women and the kind of people that are doing some innovative work on the ground. But will you be able to actually get that if you don't get the right platform? That will be the question. But if I get myself present in the room and really communicate, I find myself that at times, one day at a time, I wouldn't say that I'm where I am today, like when we started way back in 2015, and how I actually even are getting my voice in the Unis Hub, because they didn't actually really know that Safi Organics exists. Is that I got to see the opportunity, I did the application, someone actually saw that I'm doing something. So I say that getting yourself in the room and speaking up for yourself and other people who are doing some innovative work is how I get my voice aligned. The other thing I also do is working with the government. You know, it's very fragile to really work with the government, especially at this era. But if you get to talk with the government and try to say, maybe we can change this kind of policies. So advocating for policies that would align and actually work towards the mission that I am working with, and other people who are doing the same space. One day at a time, we're gonna get there, and you just find that some adjustment in the government is really doing something towards that. So, so that would be my take in that question.
To you, Ms. Dorothy, have you had an experience where you felt like your crucial contribution, or rather your decision, was not taken keenly, and how were you able to overcome that?
Thank you so much, Leshan, for that question. And I want to just start by saying I come from a community where women have very many, women do not have many options to get employment, to start businesses. And I have had personally a very big challenge since I launched my own business of focusing on climate change and mitigation and such actions. I have really had to battle a lot of gender stereotypes at every stage. And I think for me, what has helped me is just knowing that I am actually addressing a woman's issue, because culturally and traditionally, it is the women who cook. And many times when I talk about cooking, men are not really interested because they say that is a woman's issue. So what I have done is I have persisted in educating the community, and I have not left the men outside. I have involved men as sales agents, as people who demonstrate how the products work, They also work along the production value chain of the products. And I have also merged up with women who also work in this sector. So the women are able to give their opinion and why they would like the design of the stove in this way, and the men would appreciate. So that combination of both genders in the production value chain and even in the distribution value chain, I think it's contributing so much to helping the women in alleviating their sufferings in the kitchen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrozi. Maybe if we could just stick to you, businesses are playing a very important role in achieving, the Paris Agreement, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals, circulating or rather involving climate change. What are some of the structural barriers you think are hindering women's ability to fully adapt to, or rather, to fully respond to the climate crisis?
I think one thing that I have seen as a very big barrier is the gender stereotypes and norms that are there are just so discriminative and so much infringing on women to actually rise up and perform to their maximum potential, because women have other duties at home, and so they are not able to avail themselves at every meeting at all the times. So I find some of the people do not understand this, and so they overlook women's opinion instead of being flexible to find out what is the best time for women to avail themselves for these meetings and to listen to them. And then the other thing is generally and in most places, manufacturing is believed to be a male field or a male space. And this has denied women that opportunity to also develop their skills in manufacturing, especially of these artisanal products that we engage in. So the skills development of women is really an area that is really neglected. And you find that even women, when women are involved, they are involved at the tail end of the production, where the returns are always very low, and the male are the ones at the forefront, and they take most of the economic returns from such work. Yet, if innovations are there and all these combined together can help in building women's skills in production and manufacturing of clean cooking products, or any other products in the manufacturing space, so that women can be more involved, and let them also take up the key roles of production. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dorothy. Maybe to you, Joyce, do you feel like the world has enough female founders?
Well, we have enough female founders and doing some good job, giving some good contribution to the economy. But what is saddening and what is really bad is that they don't get enough support. They don't get enough space and enough opportunities for them to present their voices, to present their businesses in the right platform. And do you know what is that? I really feel bad when we're talking about involving these women in decision-making and the kind of impact that we want to deliver. But you know that what comes up during this presentation is an African woman walking barefooted, having a basket full in her head and holding some kids. when working. These are the kind of women that you're saying you want to impact. But you also have leveraged women who are not facing the same thing. But how do you match the two? The profiling women who are scaling and changing the narrative across the globe. But we want to show us that these are the kind of women and these are the kind of voices that we want to present. But do you get a time where you see these women who are really walking barefoot and doing all this kind of hard work, asking them, what is the problem? What do you want to see as a change? So we have enough founders. Women are really working hard to change the narrative, and they have a lot of stories going on and a lot of good work going on. And but the right platform is not there. They lack knowledge. There's no knowledge that is provided for these women to learn, because you have to recognize that some are very literate, some are illiterate, but you have to go an extra mile and meet these two kind of different personalities at their level. But people just want to ignore and block this kind of stuff that is going on in here between. So women are underrepresented in decision making. You'd see that it was very highly profiled at the UN COP27 that happened in Egypt. We had women, but still the numbers was not good enough for us to actually lay out our voice there and tell them, look here, this is what is really happening. But we have a lot of good women doing some good job, creating the narrative and contributing to the economy at a very high rate. So I feel we have enough founders, but we don't have enough support in terms of finances, in terms of technical assistance, and all that goes in there. Enough support is still needed for us to support the women founders in Africa.
Thank you so much, Joyce. I'd like to jump into Patrice. Patrice, what are some of the changes you think should be effective to ensure that women are not underrepresented in the business and climate space?
I think it starts with the policies, ensuring we put forward policies that ensure that there are quite a number of women where those climate-related decisions are being made. I know sometimes those policies are there, but action needs to be taken to ensure that those policies are being implemented. Because sometimes I look at our government and they say that 2/3 have to be women, but is that really the case? So I think these are the issues that are cutting across even in decisions where climate-related decisions need to be made. So we need policies, but also actions, that these policies are being, someone is overseeing them to ensure that indeed we can see results, we can see women up there, and we can see them contributing to these climate-related decisions.
Thank you so much, Patrice, for that we need to make sure that the policies that are already existing need to be implemented. Maybe now I could give Ms. Dorothy the stage to give her final remarks, as well as let me kindly remind our audience, if you have a question, kindly leave it at the Q&A section. You can direct it to either of the social businesses founders that is present here today, and they're more than gladly to be answering the questions. Ms. Dorothy, the floor is yours to give your final remarks and any other maybe advice you have for our audience.
I want to borrow words of Mary Robinson, who once said, if we took away barriers to women's leadership, we would solve the climate change problem a lot faster. And this is very true because, like you said in your opening statements, that half of the world population is women. So leaving the half population of the world in achieving something that is affecting all of us is not going to bear any fruit. Instead, we will continuously fail and fail in our climate action efforts. So I just want to call upon all of us in the room, and I would like to leave you with one question. What is the one barrier you can remove for the women entrepreneurs in your community to help them to access support they need? I think if all of us thought of an answer to this question, then we will find that we are creating space and we are supporting more and more women to get involved, and we will be achieving the SDGs that we so much desire to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Maybe you could give your final remarks.
You can hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I would like to say that even though women are not being fully represented in these climate-related proceedings and decisions, I think there's still some positive progress that have been made, because I was reading somewhere and I realized that the United Nations came up with a framework, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and has adopted a gender action plan to promote responsive climate policies. So I think so far, at least there's some progress. So let me tell the women here that there's hope. So position yourself, make sure that you've looked into your business and see where you can adopt things like circularity. Make sure you reach out, because just knowledge alone is not enough. Go out there, look at organizations supporting this, look for mentors, and help them to ensure that indeed your business has become more circular or is in the path of circularity. So women, this is your time. If you do not position yourself right now, I don't see a better time. So progress has already begun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrice. Maybe we could cross over to Joyce.
Yeah, sure. So just for your information, there's a lot of billions dollars that was invested in the space of entrepreneurship. And what is really sad is that 2% only, actually less than 2%, that should be the statement, less than 2% was invested in female founders. I view myself as a founder, and I really don't want to really categorize like a woman I'm marginalized. So please step up. Don't step up like a woman, step up like an entrepreneur, someone who has something that would show to the world, create that change. I recognize a lot is being done. A lot of discussion is going around the globe just to ensure that a lot of funds are being pulled towards supporting women, not because they are less competitive, not because it's a special gender. We are not a special gender. We know what we are doing, we deliver, and the result is also very significant, that if you lend to women, they actually pay on time, they'll double that. So we outshining the men. But if we step up there with full capacity, full integrity, and show the world what we can offer, we will overturn that over time. But it begins with you. So change the narrative, step up, do the best that you can, because we are the real change makers to our own economies and starting with our own families. So my closing point is that show the world what we are made of, put your best foot forward, and let's keep changing the world and making more impact to our own communities. And adopt to circularity, because this is the sustainable way. It doesn't matter if you did contribute to the pollution, but accept that climate change is real, it's affecting each and every one of us. So we need to create a good future for our future generations, for them to thrive and have a better life that we did have when we were existing. So yeah, thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Joyce, for that great insight that to step up not only as a woman, but as well as an entrepreneur. So I'd like to open the floor to anyone with a question to either one of our program managers, that is Leonard Marcy, or our social business entrepreneurs who have been my amazing panelists today. So if you have a question, kindly feel free to unmute yourself.
If no one would like to share, I want to share a little bit briefly about Catalyst. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is just a reminder that Catalyst awards are still open till 15th of May, and make sure to view and shop from Catalyst Sustainable Market. And if you are not a member yet, kindly join Catalyst. We would love to have you. And don't forget to register for other sessions and contribute to the CCW. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lana. If there's no one else with a question, that's from you, Lana. Okay, thank you so much for joining this particular session. It has been an honor to listen from these amazing women who are leading change in the business as well as the climate space in Kenya. I'd like to welcome Leonard again, if you have final remarks. Is Leonard here? Fortunately, I think he can't connect. So thank you so much. I'd like to end the session there. It has been an honor to speak to all of you. My name is Leshan Waithera, for those who had not were not in the session before. I am the communication coordinator at Tunas Environment Hub, and I'd like to also thank, her name is Deborah Nyambu. Thank you for your amazing feedback, and I look forward to having more amazing sessions with Catalyst 2030 as well as our amazing panelists for today. Goodbye, and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon for those who are in Kenya.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.